This is still part of week 2. Something I didn't really touch on and I haven't done a video about is going ahead and learning how to do a professional stitch. Now, I have never seen a video on how to do a professional stitch, and this is something I learned from observation. I looked at professionally done pieces in crochet, and I always wondered why their stitches look so different than mine, especially a double crochet stitch. What is the difference? And it took me a while. Maybe it took me up to a year of observation. I would see it and go, why does that look so good and so flat and everything on the front side of things, where when I do it, it looks like the back on both sides, so I can't tell which is the back. And that's another issue I have in class. People can't tell which is the front, which is the back. Counting the rows is one thing, but also figuring out which is the front and which is the back of something. The difference between something looking like it's a regular crochet stitch and one that looks more professional are these little legs. I call them legs. I don't know exactly what they're considered, but the legs that come down from the hook. Now look at the height difference. This one is up to the size of your hook. This one's a 5mm. You always want to measure it here, not here. Right here is really too skinny. You want to be measuring in this part of the hook. And so you have this one that's on the hook right now, not the pulled up stitch, loop, but the one that was on the hook originally with the completed stitch is the size of that hook. The one that I pulled up, the loop that I pulled up, is longer. When I wrap it around, I'm going to pull it through while that is still long. So this is a single crochet. And the tendency is to bring them both down to that size. And it just makes it a little bit shorter. And it's harder to tell with the single crochet, but if we do it like this, we're limiting the room that we have to bring that hook in. Now, when I talk about my hooks, we're doing this hook. It comes, watch how it's facing out right here. This part I'm talking about, it's facing out. When I go into the stitch, it's still facing me. It grabbed that yarn. What did it do? It turned down. And what that does is it brings it through that loop that's on the completed chain stitch, and I pull up this new loop from the ball end of my yarn, and see that room? When I leave it there, I've got all that room to just let that slip on through. And just slips right through. On the back side, we're going to do a double crochet, so you can see, ooh, this is one thing with worsted, and this happens a lot. It's 4 strands, they split. Grab that, come down. It's still high in my last stitch. I'm going to do 2 chains because I'm going to be doing a double crochet. You can do 2 or 3. I'm just going to do 2. Find my little V here, wrap around. Now watch this. We pull up that loop. That one's really tall. That one's in between these two, and this one is right up to that hook. I'm going to leave it like that and go through that. That makes this part of the leg very long and this one short. It was something that was just an observation that I discovered. I never saw anything written about it. I couldn't figure out what in the world was so different between my work as a beginner, when I was a beginner 25 years ago, and even up to 10 years ago, because it took that long to realize what it was that made the difference. Now let's change it up. You see how this looks? Let's change it up and go, well, I want it all to be the same length. So I'm going to keep my hook down. Everything's the same length and come up like this. It changes the size of it,
and it changes the way that this lays down. It's curly. And I always say the curly side is your back side, but if you do your shorter double crochets, it's going to be curly on the front and the back. See how there's kind of a curl to it, waviness to it, where this is more flat and just a smooth curve like this. And again, the difference, this is the way that I do it, the more professional way. Bring it all the way up. We're bringing these up. These two are going to meet this one, and they're going to stay right there. If you've got your tension, this will not be a problem. Where does this look, make the biggest difference? When you go to do a fan or a shell. I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm doing a whole bunch into this same stitch right there. We've got 4. A shell's typically 5. Okay, let's look at the difference. See how nice, and just a nice little professional shell. And the back, when I say the curly side, we can see that really well right here. And that's just what I mean by a professional crochet stitch. I mean, there is a big difference. It's something to practice, something to strive for, but it might be something you never noticed, and now you know.
And just looking ahead, next week we're going to be doing increases, decreases, and because my class is doing so well, I mean, everybody's kind of catching on so quickly, I decided I'm going to teach how to do the curlicues. We have different styles. These are 3 different ones. They might all look very similar because you can't tell, but look how long that one is versus this one's really tight. They all have the same amount of chain stitches, but I will teach you next week how to do them.